Everyone keeps asking the same question right now. Is 2026 finally the year the Vancouver market rebounds? Rates are easing, headlines sound more optimistic, and a lot of people believe 2026 will just magically feel better. But before we talk about where this market is going, we need to be honest about where we just came from. Guys, before we get into it, I'm Ryan McMillan with another real estate reality check for you guys. I help people buy and sell homes. Make sure you go down and subscribe to the channel. And also, you can find all my links in the description. Also, QR code right on the screen. You can book a call right here with me. So let's get right into it right now. Let's look at what actually happened in Greater Vancouver in 2025. Let's start with this. And this is not opinions, it's not predictions, just results from the past year. And across Greater Vancouver this year, we saw real measurable declines, especially when you compare prices and momentum to the 2021 and 2022 peak. Detached homes in many neighborhoods were down anywhere from 8 to 12%, and some even higher from the peak levels. And again, depending on location and condition. Condos experience even more pressure, particularly small urban units, and again, depending on location. But if you were priced off by ten or $15,000, you were sitting and you weren't selling. The same, like, sales activity stayed weak, and again, inventory kept building. So you were always battling that next wave of inventory, and this is critical. 2025, guys, was not a recovery year. It was a normalization year, and this ties into the inventory problem we were seeing throughout the year, and now we're continuing to see, and will continue to see in 2026. We'll talk about that. But Greater Vancouver can constantly sat in a buyer territory market, and sales active listings remain well below the level needed to support any type of price growth. What does that mean in plain English? Well, basically, homes weren't selling slowly because buyers couldn't act. They were selling slowly because buyers really didn't have to rush at all. Choice removes pressure, and pressure is what pushes prices up, as we saw in the peak of 21 and 22. This this leads into buyer psychology. One of the biggest changes coming out of 2025. Buyers stopped fear of missing out, the FOMO effect we saw a few years ago. Instead of asking, how fast do I need to move on this property? They start asking, why should I pay that price at all? That mindset doesn't disappear just because rates dip slightly. And then you have the problem of record mortgage renewals this year and also leading into 2026. It's a huge factor. We saw it in 2025, and it's going to continue into the new year. In like this mortgage cycle renewal, homeowners who bought or refinanced during the ultra low rates are now renewing at a significantly higher payment. This doesn't cause panic selling, but it does cause gradual, steady increases in listing. People want to be proactive, saying, we can't afford this anymore. And when supply keeps coming without strong demand behind it, prices struggle to rise. So when major firms now forecast another price decline for Metro Vancouver in 26, it didn't come out of nowhere. Again, they're not predicting a collapse. They're simply projecting that the conditions we saw in 2025 don't magically reverse overnight. And according to current forecasts, Metro Van prices are expected again to decline, roughly 3 to 4% throughout the year. Detached homes are projected to experience the most pressure, around 5%, while condos are expected to soften by around 3%. But again, this trend is largely localized. Most Canadian markets are expected to grow modestly, but Vancouver and Toronto, as we've seen this year, remain the outliers due to higher prices, higher inventory, and again, slower absorption. Now, this leads into immigration changes and the condo pressure. So, as we know, immigration rules have changed, and immigration still supports housing demand long term. But the recent reductions affect the timing and not the headlines. So, fewer new households forming at the same time condos are oversupplied means continued softening, especially in entry level and investor focused units. And this is why condos feel the pressure first and a lot of times the longest. So if you're a buyer now in 2026, you're thinking, okay, well, what does this mean for me, right? So for most buyers, 2026 isn't about waiting for some dramatic drop. It's about what leverage you have and what leverage you can use. So uh, selection is going to remain high, negotiations still going to be there, and subjects are still going to matter. The opportunity isn't timing the exact bottom, but it's buying without, again, competition. And again, you're going to have a lot of opportunity in the new year. And for sellers, The thing you can take away from this year is simple. The market now rewards realistic pricing and strong presentation. If you somebody that just say, "Hey, look, we priced it wrong and the market ignored us," you got to price it right. Homes still sell. This is a strategy market, guys. It's not a hope market. Throw something at the wall. Let's hope it sticks. Days are gone. So 2026, not a crash, but it's also not a rebound just because rates move and we're into a new year. The Vancouver market is recalibrating slowly for a good reason. But if you're buying or selling in Greater Vancouver, strategy is going to matter more than forecast leading into the next year. So if you want a breakdown specific to your neighborhood, get hyper local, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you about it. Like I said, you can all find all my links in the description. Book a call with me right there on the QR code, and we can talk real estate and talk about whether you're on the buy side or the sell side. Again, guys, appreciate you making it to the end of this video. If you guys like what you've been watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next video.